In this video, I'm going to teach you how to create a new activity and how to open an activity from one to another. So just like they always said before, that an activity is a complete window that has a front end and back end, just like a complete instance of an Android window. So if you, for example, how you can have a home page, and then you have a messages page, then you have I'm regarding to website, you have a notification page, you have about us page. Those are different windows according to websites, or different pages according to website. So in Android, you don't call them pages, but you call them activities. So an activity, just like the way we discussed before, must have a back end and a front end. So it's a complete instance, so a complete window. So all this long, if you've been following, we've been dealing with only one activity, and we say that to create an activity, first of all, it must be having a back end, which is here, and then it must be also having a front end, or a layout that people will see. So or the users will see, which is this one here. So here I'm going to show you, and this activity must be registered inside our Android manifest. For example, this activity is called main activity, and if we come to Android manifest, you'll find that this activity is already registered here, which is main activity, and is marked as our main activity that will open by default when someone opens our app. So we're going to learn how to create a new activity. So to create a new activity, there are different steps. You can use Android to create for you, or Android Studio to create for you, or you can create it by yourself. To create by yourself, first of all, you need to first create a class, Android class, by simply right clicking, and then right clicking here, and then you come to right clicking here on your package, and then you come to new Java class, and then you extend this app compatibility class, and then you create this on create instance. So by doing that, we'll have created the back end of the activity. Then after, you create your front end of the activity, which is the layout, and then after, you register that activity inside your Android manifest. But for now, we're going to use Android Studio to help us create an activity. So to do that, I'll just simply come and right click on my package here, or you can click even on the app itself. Okay, so one of the two is, or both of them work. So you just right click on the app, no problem. Then come new, and then we shall come to activity. Then we shall select an empty activity for now. So we shall select an empty activity. So you can see here it has opened. So the naming here sometimes is important to keep your project organized. For example, this app, just like we say that this activity is going to have two files, main files. The back end, which is this one, the activity name, and then the front end, which is this one that will be the layout. So normally we always begin with any name that you want to give your activity behind. For example, if it is messages, or if it is chats, or if it is notification, or if it's about us. So you begin with that, and then followed with activity. Okay, with the word activity. It's not necessary, but it helps to keep your work organized. Then after, you come and create the layout, and for the layout, we begin with the word activity, and then followed with the name that is matching with your layout. You can use anything, but to keep your work organized, because to keep your work organized, that's how we better rename, because we shall have many layouts here. When your application grows, you shall have many layouts, that some will be for activity and some will not be for activities. So the better way to keep your layouts in a well organized way, to identify them, so you better begin those of activity with the name activity, so that you can simply sort them out. Otherwise, if you don't rename your activities properly, your layouts can confuse you in the coming time as your application grows. So for example, assume that this is going to be my messages activity. So what will I do? I'll just simply come and remove this main 2, but I'll write messages activity. So you see, messages activity, and here Android has helped me to remove the second main 2 and replace it with the with message activity for my layout, and this is going to be for my for my Java. Okay, So I'll leave everything the way it is. Here you can change the package name, but I'll leave the package name the way it is, and then I just say finish. So when I click finish, it will process and will create for me my simple activity. So let us first observe what has changed when you create when you have created a new activity. We can observe here in our application structure that there are two new files that are being created. For example, this one, the main the messages activity, which is the Java file, and there is this one, activity messages, which is another an XML file. So we have done what? We have separated. We have successfully created these two. The activity itself. So if you come to Android manifest, you'll find that this messages activity has also been registered. Otherwise, if you don't register your activity in Android manifest, then it will not work. So I'm going to come here to the layout of our messages activity, the second activity that we created, and try to put there a text and just to tell us that we're in messages. I'm going to change. I'm going to just put a text view, width match parent, height match parent, and then I'm going to give it text, and then I say messages. Okay, so I've written their message activity. Let me give it gravity, center, and then lastly I will give it I'll give it size so that you can see properly. Text size maybe 25 dp, and then after I'll close. So this is our second second activity layout, and this is our messages activity layout. Now since we have created activity, now we have to create a way how we shall navigate from the first activity to the second activity. To do that, I'm going to put here a simple button that will help me to do what? To navigate to the second activity. So this is our main activity, and what I'm going to do here, I'm going to change this one from constraint layout. I'm going to put linear layout, because linear layout is the most simpler one to use. So that's how I change it. How did I change it? Let me show you how I changed it clearly. I just select this one, opening tag, and then type linear layout. Okay, then I'm going to change its orientation vertical. So I have here hello world, which I can say home activity. It is here, home activity. And then after, I'm going to put a button. Let me also change its size, text size. I'm going to make it 25 dp. Okay, so let me also put a button, so that we shall click on and open the second activity. So I just simply do that and then put button, and this button will just wrap content, and then I will put text and say open, or I can put messages, open messages. Okay, and then I'll close, and then maybe I can put some margin top of like 15 dp, or I can put 25 dp. Okay, so I'm going to center these layouts, and I put them here in the middle. So to center those layouts and put them in the middle, just come and put here gravity in the parent and put center. So everything inside the parent will be centered. So I want now to do the logic that will help me to open the second activity when I click here. So to open the second activity when I click here, I'm going to first create my simple function that I'll do that will be ren when I open here. So there are two ways. Right now I'm just going to use a function. In the next video I'll show you how to use the on-click listener. So I'm going to put here my function. I'm going to just call it will return nothing, void, I'm going to call it open messages. Okay, so I want when someone click on the other side, it should do what? It should open the messages. So this function, it will take a view. It will take a view data type, because this function that you open from the front end using front end views, they always take that view data type. So it will take view, and then I'll receive it and name it as view or v, no problem. So I mean that button that you shall click on, all its structure, all its object information will be passed and stored in this view. Now inside this message, open message, I'm going to put now the logic that will open the second activity. And these are just few lines that we open. We do what? We write. So we first write the context. We shall talk about much about context of an Android, but right now just know that we create the what? The new intent and the context, and use the context to open the activity. So to create an intent, we shall discuss what is an intent later, but right now just know that we need to create an intent, and then I create the object of this intent, which is, maybe I can call it I, is equal to new intent. So this intent takes two takes two parameters, or takes two arguments. The first argument is the context. So to get the context, I can use this, no problem, which represent the instance of this class, or I can use our class.this, which is main activity.this, to be specific. So that's what we call our intent, our context. And then the second parameter will be the class of the activity that we want to open, which is the messages activity dot class. So it will be messages activity, then I put dot class, then I put semicolon. So by doing this one, we will be preparing to open from the main activity to the messages activity. Just like what I told you, you can as well use this without being specific, no problem. Then after doing that, now we have to run this intent or open this intent. So how do we do that? By simply putting in this, or the context, this dot start activity, this one here. So here we pass we pass the previous activity that the previous intent that we created. So I'll just put here my I. You can call it intent, you can call it anything that you want. So by doing that, we'll be able to do what? This function will be able to open the message activities, the message activity. Now we want to run this function when you click on that button. So to run this function, when you click on the button, there are two ways. One is using the listener, the on-click listener, and the other way is to use the button itself from the front end. So I'll just copy the name of this function and then come here on this button, and I add another attribute called on-click. So I'm going to add here another attribute called on-click, and then I pass the name of the other function that we created, which is open messages. So if I click Control and click here, it will bring me to this function. So I mean that when you shall click on this button, this function will be open through the use of this on-click attribute. So by doing that, our app is ready to do to be executed, or to work, to function, by just simply click on open message, and then does and then it opens the second activity. So let's run the app. So as you can see, our app has run successfully. Now we want to test by simply clicking here, and we see if it will open the second activity. So if I click there, open messages, something is wrong. Let's see what could be wrong. The reason why our app crashed is because this function is supposed to be public. Since you're going to open this function outside our class of main activity, so this function must be public. So that's why our app crashed. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make this public function. Then let's run our app again. So our app has successfully run. Now let us try to run it again. Let us try to open the messages again. So I click there. You can see the messages activity has opened. If I click back and then I click on open messages again, you can see the messages activity has opened. So I'll not proceed from there. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to open the other activity using the on-click listener. I hope you'll not miss, and thank you for watching up to this point.